So I'm Ryan Villanueva with Best Delegate, and I'm here with the Secretary General of Harvard National Model United Nations, Mr. Ricky Hanzich.
How you doing?
Doing fine. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a long couple days so far, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But everything seems to be going very, very smoothly, which is all I can ask for. People are happy, and so I just have to walk around a lot and get some tired feet. Luckily, I don't have to wear high heels like the girls, so I feel bad. I feel badly I have to do that. But,
okay. All right.
Still a little tiring, and it's just nice to see that things are finally coming together.
I mean, the conference seems to have come together really well.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think the delegates seem to really enjoy themselves. And firstly, again, thank you for having me come here and visit and blog about the conference. It's been a real pleasure. And yeah, just had a few questions for you and for our audience at Best Delegate. And the first is, clearly a lot of hard work goes into organizing a conference of the magnitude and scale of Harvard National.
No doubt.
And for you, I know you must be managing a huge team. But what would you say is the best part of being Secretary General?
It might sound cheesy, but I think the best part of being Secretary General is the people I get to work with, both my staff members and just the delegates that come to this conference, of course. Firstly, for my staff members, I have so much respect, and I'm just in awe of what they're able to do. There are about, I believe there are 201 of us altogether, including the Secretariat. And each person brings something so different to the table. The thing about Model United Nations at Harvard is people are just coming from around the world. So we have our own kind of little UN within our organization, learning just a lot from their experiences, all the different languages they speak, and their different backgrounds. And then obviously once we get to this conference, then it's a truly international experience. We have, I believe, now that all the registration is done, we have 37 nations represented this year, which I believe is one more the same as last year. So it's really as internationally diverse as we've ever had this conference before. So I'm really, really proud of that. That was something I wanted to ensure we can continue year after year.
How many delegates do you have at the conference?
2,900 is the final count for everybody registered.
And I know it seems that some countries are represented here for the first time. I met with a delegation from Haiti.
Yes.
Who apparently received a lot of help from Harvard to come here.
Yeah, fortunately, we are able to provide financial assistance for some of our delegations that come here to the conference, and our Undersecretary General for Finance, Thomas Wang, has worked unbelievably hard to ensure that they can come here and participate in this conference. It is meeting their delegation. They're so incredibly humble, so kind, and I can't even imagine what they've gone through. It's something that it's hard to grasp if you've never been there, which I haven't. It's something I think different than just watching it on YouTube or something like that. And for them to be able to come here and discuss their backgrounds and what they've been through with other delegates, I think is priceless. You don't really get that anywhere else, or it's difficult to do so. So, yeah.
And one thing I've noticed about the conference, right? And when I went here when I was a delegate, right, is that delegates here work really hard.
They do.
I mean, you have large committees, at least in the General Assemblies, and delegates are writing their resolutions like in between committee sessions, like going out for like dinner, lunch, like to keep caucusing, keep working.
Yeah.
They're like laid out on the floor, like in the middle of the halls, getting up early in the morning to like make meetings. What would you say like drives delegates to like work so hard?
It's a good question. It is because it's a tiring process, and as a delegate myself, I know how difficult it is to get up early in the morning and continue discussing, even when DIA staffers might not be watching you and taking down noting who the best delegate is. But I think part of it is that they understand that in this kind of environment that is, as you say, kind of the college championship, they are working their hardest to get these awards and to show all the work that they have done, and to do that, they have to work outside of committee. They have to be able to continue discussing these issues because we only have 6 committee sessions, and they're only about 2.5 to 3 hours, and there's only so much you can get done during that span of time, especially when within those committee sessions you only have so many unmoderated caucuses. And so I think the delegates really understand that a lot of work, and I think it is pretty applicable to the real UN and real international relations organizations, when when you're out there, the time where you're able to kind of bridge the divide are those more informal times when you're able to kind of meet over a meal and kind of talk about your different backgrounds, and you know, you're still talking about the issues a little bit, but you're getting to know each other, and that makes things a lot easier once you get into committee because you have a better understanding of where you're both coming from.
Definitely some of the most meaningful moments I've had in Model UN have been outside of committee.
Yeah.
It's just like getting to know my fellow delegates.
Exactly, and I think that's what you know, Harvard National Model United Nations is all about. That's what we try to emphasize. That's what I try to talk to about in my speech, is that it's rare to have a conference when there are people from so many different parts of the world. And even when we have at least 37 nations, delegations from those nations, but the people within those delegations are also from different nations. So we're pushing 50 different nations, you know, people just from really around the world, different parts, and it's just, I don't think there are any other Model UN conferences out there. Perhaps World MUN, also hosted by Harvard, which I am lucky to be able to be a part of as well, where, you know, it's so diverse and you get so many people that you learn from, you know, not just from the research that they're doing, but just from their life experiences. It really is priceless.
It's very cool. And I mean, speaking of life experiences, clearly Model UN has been a large part of your life.
Yeah, past 8 years or so, I guess.
And you and I actually go back. Back to doing Model UN in Orange County, Southern California.
Looking up to you as when I was a wee little freshman, as you were leading the organization, I had a wonderful time. I remember I was a freshman, so the biggest, I guess, opportunity to be a part of it as a freshman was being a lawyer for the ICJ. I think I was a part of it, actually. Right. And so that was just a really cool opportunity for me, you know, because it is a pretty hierarchical structure, and to be able to have that kind of role in it, I really appreciate it, and it was just so much fun working under you for sure. It was a successful conference.
No, I mean, I was a senior when I was Secretary General, and you were a freshman at the time. You rose to become Secretary General of the high school conference.
I did.
I went on to be Secretary General of my college conference, and clearly you're Secretary General here at the college championship. And yeah, what would you say Model UN means to you?
That's a big question. There's no doubt about that. But I think over the past 8 years or so, Model UN has come to be the opportunity, and I kind of go back to the speech I made at opening ceremonies, the opportunity to see not how the world is, how many of our classes, you know, teach us what's going on in the world, and kind of just look at those statistics and all of that. But Model UN really gives you that insight into how the world can be, and it really shows you, especially you know, within our specialized agencies. You can see we have futuristic committees, several this year. We have several historical committees, and you're able to learn so much more from being able to bend the truth and try to recreate and kind of see how we can do things better and to push the limits of that. Because in real life, it's hard for diplomats to really be bold, like Larry Cox kind of spoke to in his speech, and how we need bold action from leaders, but it's so hard to change the status quo. But Model UN, it's you know, very often times you're able to kind of go out on a limb and do things you wouldn't normally be able to do. So that's, I guess, what Model UN means to me. It kind of just teaches you that there are all those possibilities out there. It's powerful.
That's very cool. And actually, I know you're a senior now.
Yes.
And next year you'll be working for Teach for America.
I will.
Is that right?
I'll be in Phoenix, working as a secondary English teacher. I'm not sure if it's middle school or high school yet, so I'll have to be hired by a school district. But that'll hopefully happen soon. Just kind of making the last preparations, and I'm excited. It'll be a big change from, you know, Boston to Phoenix, Arizona.
But I just thought it was really cool that you, as Secretary General of HNMUN, and Alec, actually as Secretary General of the high school conference, like you're both working for TFA.
That's great.
Next year. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have any thoughts of doing Model UN when you guys are teachers. And,
I mean that's definitely crossed my mind, of course, and you know, the thing is, I think I'll have my hands full learning just how to be a teacher. In the beginning, they kind of say the first year is probably the most intense year of your life, and I think that will be the case. It'll just be very taxing, but hopefully once I get my groove going on teaching, then if I'm able to have the opportunity to start a MUN organization or just help out in any of those different kind of extracurricular ways, I think those are the times where you can really, impact the lives of students, because, you can teach English. I think it's important to teach English, but once you kind of tap into kids' passion, what they really, really care about, and I think Model UN is one of those activities where kids can be passionate about it, or at least I have been, and I think if you see the 3,000 kids at our conference, they're pretty psyched about Model UN. So if I were able to do that, then I would be very happy.
Very cool.
To say the least.
Very cool. Thank you so much for having me here. And
thank you so much.
Congratulations on the conference.
Thank you.
It seems to be coming along really well.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Okay.